Okay. Legal. Fine. Wow, what a wonderful journey it was, right? Traveling all the way from Earth, going to space, and then covering such a huge distance and landing on such a beautiful planet. So I hope you had enjoyed this wonderful long journey. So welcome everyone, welcome dreamers, explorers to a platform where your screen transforms into your a window of learning and opportunities. As we gather from different parts of the world, we might be separated by pixels, we might be separated by laptops, computers, but together we are united by one passion, and that passion is passion for space. So wonderful. Good evening everyone. My name is Ashish, and together I'm going to take you to this beautiful red planet. So whether you are sipping your evening chai or enjoying your delicious samosas, let's buckle up together, grab your sandwiches, and ready to explore the space and unfold its mysteries. So I hope also that you have enjoyed the first session of NASA Power Up. So as a part of this World Space Week, so happy World Space Week, everyone. So this week we dedicate to astronomy and space science, so that we get to learn about space, and with that we also learn what are the challenges and problems that we face here on the Earth, right? So as a part of this World Space Week, here we at Navars are celebrating it by giving some information, some informative information, and some tinkering to students like you. So let's begin the webinar. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Everyone can see my screen. So Mars. Recently, India has launched Chandrayaan 3 and even landed, right? So yes, India is on the moon right now, and Mars. Coming to the next planet that we have in our neighborhood, maybe many of you might have heard about Mangalyaan as well, right? That was our maiden mission. That was India's maiden mission, which landed on this red planet. But my question is, why this planet? There are a lot of planets in our solar system, right? And if you talk about Venus, if you talk about Mercury, we don't send that many missions to Mars, right? We don't send that many missions to these planets. So why are we focusing so much? Why are scientists, engineers, they are focusing so much on this planet? So together, engineers, create such a huge spaceships that travel all the way, all the millions. When we plan to go to Shimla, what do? We make our itinerary that this is the time we are going to get the train or flight, and this is the time we will land on Shimla, and this is the complete plan for the day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on, right? So imagine, as just to go to Shimla or just to go to our grandmother's home, we plan so much, right? Now here we are talking about going to a different planet itself, leaving your home planet Earth and traveling all the way to the Mars, to this beautiful planet. So together we will explore a little about Mars, why we want to explore the Mars, what are the different challenges that scientists and in future we are going to face, and also design your own spaceship. Okay, so you might be thinking, imagine you are a scientist or you are an engineer. Let's say you have given a job of becoming a Martian scientist or a Martian engineer. Imagine how would you develop those things? How would you develop those vehicles that will take you all the way up to the planet? And remember one thing, this is not close. This is not close as your Shimla or your grandmother's home. It's way more far than that. Way more far than that. Okay, so let's go ahead. So welcome to Mars, and which is a planet of robots. So why Mars? See, we humans, since we stepped here on the planet Earth, initially we were, living on the trees and we were hanging up around on the trees but now slowly what happened, as we jumped on the ground, as we jumped on the Earth's surface, we started walking. Now, since we started walking, since antiquity, this planet has boggling our mind a lot. So maybe you might have seen a morning star or evening star, which is nothing but our planet Venus. You might have seen a Jupiter in the sky. Yes, that's the biggest planet, right? You might also have seen Saturn sometimes. So when you see all these planets, they all look similar in color, more or less, bluish or white bluish. But when those ancestors, and even now if you look at this planet in the sky, this completely look reddish in color. So people used to think, how come this planet is red in color? But thanks to the brilliant minds like you that we have right now, we figured out that why it is red in color, right? But yes, Mars is a planet which have been boggling us and which have been a center of learning. We learn so much from Mars, right? We think that maybe Mars was once upon a long time, Mars was just like Earth. Maybe it had water. So we thought, why not send a satellite go over there and take a snap? And when we took a photograph of Mars, our mind was blown. We figured out that, oh my God, it has dried canals. It has dried surface. It's showing you the signs of water and dry rivers. So as we know, we are very much curious, and most of the science that we do is driven by curiosity. So, there are many fundamental questions which, we humans have been trying to figure out. And one of the fundamental question is that, can we go to another planet and settle over there? Well, yes, many of us might, try to settle, maybe in London, maybe in Delhi, or maybe, in South India. Most of us have these kind of dreams. But have you ever dreamt of settling up in Mars? Or at least setting up something so that in case if any terrible things happen on Earth, in case if any disaster, not disaster, but if any, in case of anything happens on Earth, just like things happened with the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs did not have computer, dinosaurs did not have brain like us. So unfortunately, that species went extinct. And obviously we don't want to happen with us, right? So we want to have some kind of backup so that we go to some other planet and maybe settle over there and maybe explore that planet for future exploration. And not only that, Mars, when we look or when we learn about this planet Mars, we also learn about ourselves. We also, learn about how to improve human life here on the planet Earth. Let me give you just a beautiful example. We know that Mars do not have electricity, of course, right? Mars do not have water. And here on Earth, these are the main two things which we are struggling off. You know that the water level is going down day by day, right? And even we are running out of resources. We are running out of coal, using which most of the electricity is being generated. So when we learn about some technology that can bring electricity or that can, maybe make the water itself, maybe, who knows? So when we learn about those technology, when we learn about these problems, maybe we will solve those challenges that we are facing here on Earth, or maybe we may be facing in the coming future. So learning about Mars or doing this kind of exploration does not only help science, but also help the entire humanity, right? So Mars, a beautiful fourth planet from the sun, which stays around 1.5 times the Earth and 1.5 times Earth to sun distance, which is pretty far actually. Now you might be thinking, has anybody gone there? Or maybe did we send any robots over there? But as I said in the previous slide, yes, Mars is the planet of robots. Mars, or you can say that Mars is the most habitable planet, but not for humans, for robots. Okay, how far it is? Well, let's say when you go to Shimla with your bike or with your car or something, you might take a day or 2 day around. When you go to moon, max to max, or as fast as you can, it might take around let's say 3 days or 4 days. And recently, we also have sent Aditya L1, which might take around 4 months to go to its orbit. That's also pretty far, right? Mars is such a planet. If you don't think about its position in the space, it might take a huge amount of time. And why is that? We will slowly, learn in the coming slides. But yes, on an average, any spacecraft would take around 7 to 8 months, or let's say 9 months to reach Mars. Now imagine a couple of astronauts, or maybe some of you go to Mars, trying to go to Mars and being in space for 7 months. And obviously we can't take a bunch of wheat flour, we can't take a bunch of veggies and cook in a space shuttle or in a spacecraft. Well, who knows, we might be able to do in the future. But imagine traveling in space for 7 months. That would take a huge amount of resource, right? Of course, let's go ahead with the first resource that we would need: oxygen. Without oxygen, we won't survive, right? So oxygen is the very first resource. Second, food, right? Yes, obviously food. So we have to think about some other kind of recycling thing that maybe recycle our own excreta and maybe produce something new. Need to think about water. Yes, 7 months, right? Water would be a very essential element. So we need to think about that also. You see, so when you think about recycling elements, recycling these fundamental needs, we can create we can use those kind of resources here on the Earth itself. We can use those kind of technology here on Earth, right? So coming back to its distance, if you look at the right side of, the GI of this video, you see, sometimes the Earth and the Mars is coming closer. And when the Mars is opposite to the sun, then the distance between Earth and Mars increases exponentially. Okay, so let me tell you the closest distance. Okay, the closest distance between Earth and Mars would be somewhere around 39 to 40 million kilometers. Okay, that's closest distance. They can be as close as 39 to 40 million kilometers. Now, if we talk about the maximum distance between Earth and Mars, that can be as huge as 250 million kilometers. Now, imagine going all the way from 40 million kilometers to 250 million kilometers. Right, that's a huge distance. So obviously, when you are sending your spacecraft, when you are sending your spaceship, or let's say for humans, you need to have that specific time. You need to pick up the specific month of the year where you travel the shortest distance, and that way, obviously, you will use the least amount of resource. Right now, coming to the planet itself. Like I said, when you plan to go to Shimla, obviously we just don't directly go over there, right? We think about the temperature, we think about the weather, we think about what kind of resources are we going to get there? Does it have enough oxygen or not? In case of higher altitude, so let's say you plan to go to Mount Everest, we think about whether how much oxygen is there, what kind of extra resources we would need, right? So we think about all of these things. Let's see what Mars has for us. Can we survive on Mars as of now? Let's see. Now, if we compare the atmosphere of Mars and the Earth, well, we all know that Earth is full of life, right? It has millions of species, starting from your bacteria all the way to the blue whale, right? So it's a beautiful planet of different colors: blue, white, green, brown. So beautiful planet, right? Very colorful planet. But when you look at Mars, pure red, nothing else. So you might be thinking, and even our ancestors also thought about it, why is it so red? And obviously our, those ancestors, they did not have technology and, to go up there and scoop some soil of Mars and check it out that, oh, this is red because of this. They did not have the technology. But thanks to people right now, thanks to brilliant minds like you right now, that yes, we have sent tens of robots over there, tens of robots, and so many orbiters to photograph and understand the geology of the Mars. So Mars, Mars had and even have a very complex geology. Okay, whether it is in terms of composition of soil, whether it is in terms of temperature, whether it is in terms of all the geological features that you see, such as canals, dried rivers, and so on, and polar ice caps, so many things. But there are some similarities between Mars and Earth. And the one similarity you might be wondering is, the Earth has 24 hours a day, or you say that a day on Earth is of 24 hours. Well, this is the same case with the Mars as well. Even Mars also, if you go on a Mars, you would experience a day roughly around 25 hours or something, which is pretty much similar to what Earth has, right? Now, next thing what we struggle for is the seasons. Well, because we have so many luxuries here on Earth. We have nice, cozy rooms, heaters, ACs. Well, Mars, if you go to Mars temperature in terms of summer season, it's pretty fine. It's around 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, which is quite okay. Unless you're going in a winter season on Mars, and that's going to be very dangerous because the temperature goes all the way to minus 150 and so. So winters are pretty harsh on Mars. Summers are okay. Now, as you see here on the image, there is a huge amount of carbon dioxide, 96%. Oh my God. Here on the Earth, it's in a, it's in chunks. It's in a 0.1% something. It's very less. But on Mars, yes, the atmosphere is going to be very harsh. Okay. So yes, there are some similarities, some things which are, which we might have never thought about it. But yes, there is a possibility of turning Mars into Earth. So let's see how to do that. Now, when we try to think of going to Mars, obviously we don't go with a bike, or we don't go with the, aeroplane. We don't go with the jet planes. We have special machines for them. We have a special vehicles for those things, for those kind of travel, right? So that called we as a spaceship. So you might have heard about spacecraft, a spaceship, a space shuttle, and all those things. These all are pretty much similar. So let me just tell you what is a spaceship. So a spaceship is basically a vehicle that carries astronauts, maybe deploy your satellites, maybe, it is kind of a delivery system also, you can say, and also kind of a vehicle that will travel in space and take you to different worlds. Okay. Now, as you are planning to go to Mars with a spaceship, now what should have? What does it should have? It should have a life supporting system, right? Now, when we try to think of surviving in space, where no oxygen is there, where no gravity is there, you're creating a new life support system. And imagine how much that would help here on the Earth, right? Whether it is a catastrophic event or whether in case of any emergency. So life supportive system is so much important, right? Coming to the next thing, which a spaceship should have: sustainability. We are not going to cook over there, right? Well, me might be, but there are some things which, it's difficult to generate. So what do we need to do? We need to learn how to recycle and how to reuse them, so that our vehicle, our spaceship, sustain for that long period of time. Am I right or not? Coming to the third thing, which is obviously one of the most important thing, and that is the radiation protection. Well, here on Earth, when it is winter, what do? We just cover ourselves with a blanket and sleep. Well, sometimes. Okay. But when you go to space, even if you wear a jacket, even if you wear a sweater, nothing is going to work out, because all those harmful rays are going to penetrate your sweater, are going to penetrate your jackets. So they are not going to work. Useless. Throw them. So what do we need to do? We need to have some kind of protection, made up of very different materials that will save you from harmful rays, right? And also, obviously, you are going to, as you're going to Mars, you are not going to crash, right? You need to have some kind of entry system. You need to have some kind of landing system, right? And in case if you want to come back to Earth, you also need to have descent system. So yes, all these things are required, and communication, very important. Instrument, scientific instrument, obviously true. We are not going on a Mars for a trip, right? Well, we might go in the future, maybe after 100 to 200 years. But as of now, when we're trying to explore Mars, and especially, using a spaceship, maybe you may. So we need to learn about the Mars even more. We only know 1% about it, okay? So we need to explore. So obviously scientific instruments are going to be one of the thing in our basket. Reliability. In case some malfunction happens in our spaceship, right? It should be reliable on itself. It should troubleshoot itself so that we land on Mars safely. So coming to the spaceship, well, we have sent tens of robots over there. Curiosity, perseverance, and so on. Now, a spacecraft or a space shuttle or a spaceship. There are a couple of spaceships, that we have right now among us, and one of which you might be aware, obviously, by looking at the second image, which is on the right. So Starship. So Starship by Elon Musk, they're trying to create such kind of spaceship which will travel in this ocean of universe. So Starship is going to be one of the great engineering innovation. And on the left, you might see space shuttle. It's also example of a space shuttle that takes astronauts to space, that takes a couple of luggage and as a cargo, and deploy it to the International Space Station and so on. Now, but making these things, designing these spacecrafts that is leaving the Earth's gravity and going to space takes a lot of challenges, takes a lot of efforts. Okay. So my question is, do you accept designing your own Mars spaceship? Think like you're an engineer. You have, let's say, maybe someone has dedicated a task to you that you want to go to Mars, design your own spaceship. And if you design your own spaceship, we would give you a ticket to Mars for free. So let's see how to design a Mars spaceship. So you might be wondering, how do I design it? Where should I design it? Well, there are softwares which NASA uses, which big agencies uses to design their big spacecrafts. Maybe many of you might have heard about it. That's CAD, CAD, and we call it as a computer aided design, the full form of it. Well, they also have made a smaller version of CAD where using which students like you can design your own spaceship, maybe anything you want, put your ideas and make it work. So a lot of projects and a lot of things can be done in that particular software. So using that software, today we are going to learn how to make a spaceship. And yes, the software is nothing but it's a Tinkercad. So let me just quickly share my screen. Okay, so as you search Tinkercad on a Google, this is what kind of user interface would pop up. Now what you need to do, just directly go over here and either go to login or sign up, or you also can create your personal account. So let's say I create my sign in with the Google. Choose your Google account, and in a minute it will take you to the page. Well, here we go. Okay, so this is what kind of user interface would be. Now what you do, here on your design, here, under this title, you will have this called as a plus create, where you just click on it and click on 3D design. There we go. Well, so many things are there, but not to worry. We'll go through one by one and see. Fine. Now, this is the workspace, or also called as a work plane. Okay, where you can design your things, where you can work upon it. So that's why we call it as a work plane. Now you can, zoom in, zoom out by just scrolling your mouse. This is by scrolling your, yeah. Now you might think that, okay, maybe this somewhat looks like a painting, or this is somewhat looks like a paint that we do on a computer. Well, this is a little bit similar to that, but the major improvement here is that you get to see things in 3D. Paint offers us 2D design, but this will offer you a 3D perspective of your project. Okay, and along with that, you will have many pre-loaded features that you can use to design your project. Okay, now as I said, it will show you things in 3D. So how do you change your perspective? How do you want, like if I want to see my project from left, or if I want to see my project from top, how do you do that? Just on the top left here, you have this dice where the where the top, front, and it's written. So as you scroll as you scroll it up, you will get your view. So let's say if I want to see my project from top, well, okay, there you go. You can see your project from this top, from left, from front, and so on. And this will give you a zoom. Cool. So now on coming to this top left, you can change your title of your project. Let's say that's a Mars spaceship. Okay. Now let's begin. Let's build our own spaceship. I'll just give you a small demo, and at the end, I'll also show you what I have made. And maybe you can make better than me, obviously. So let's see how to build our project, how to build a small rocket using this particular software. Okay. Coming to the right side. If you see here on the right side, there is a title called Basic Shapes. And if you click on it, it's a drop-down box. Now, as you click on it, there are so many, features that you can use. So we'll go through just one by one, but let me just show you how to place these kind of designs onto your work plane. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, let's say, so let's begin, let's begin our rocket making or a spaceship making. Let's try to do that. Okay. So as you know how the rocket would look like, maybe the rocket looks something like this, right? It has a cone shaped structure on top, then it has cylindrical, right? Where you put your, fuels and everything, and combustion chamber and all. And then at the end, you have these fins, which helps the rocket to stabilize, right? Okay, so let's create something like this. Okay, so I would need a cylinder. Okay, this is a cylinder, right? So what you do, you just left click on it and drag it onto your work plane. And that's all. That's all you need to do. Simple, right? Well, if you want to change things here, see, you can drag these, bars to change any parameters that you want. Now you might be thinking, I want to make it bigger. I want to make, a bigger cylinder, just like your rocket. So how do you do that? Now, as you click on your element, you will get these 4 and 5 squares, right? Which are nothing but the touch points using which you can change the parameters. So let's say if I drag the upper one. Oh, yes, now we have a bigger rocket. Okay, we have a bigger cylinder now. So what do you do then? Now, if you want to change the color of it, is go over there and click on this orange color. Lot of colors available. So let's choose some, maybe a bluish. Okay. Now, if you want to see how this would look like from different angles, you can do that as well. Okay, fine. Now, as I said, a rocket would have a conical structure on top, right? So what do you see here? Oh, this is also a cone, but I would prefer this, a parabola. This would give a little nice view. Okay. So let's see whether we have kept this structure, this conical structure, nicely or not. If we go on top, yes, it's very well aligned with the cylinder. That's looks nice, isn't it? Wow, good. Okay, now a rocket has fins, right? It has fins. So what do you do then? Let's see if we have something as called as fins. Okay, let's use this. Now you might be thinking, does it look like fin? Well, let's modify it and make something into fin. But let me just change its color first. I would prefer, let's say, yellow. Okay, you can pick your own color, any color that you want, any color combination. So first of all, the fins will be long, right? Let's stretch it all the way. Okay, now this is not aligned, right? So if you if you see here, it is not aligned. Let's try to align this first. So how do you align thing then? Now this thing, the cylinder and the top conical part is a separate, right? We chose the separate element, different element. But we want to shift this entire thing, the cylinder as well as the conical part. We want to shift those two elements together. So how do we do then? Just drag, make a rectangle like this. Okay, and okay, and here you will find something called as a group. You group them together, means those two elements are grouped now. So no matter which points you drag, the dimensions will change for both elements. Okay, and change its color. Oh well. Now drag it by moving your left and right key, and that's all. A little more. Okay, well, I think that's pretty well aligned. Cool. Now our space, our rocket is ready. Well, you can also put your own things. You can put your antenna, you can put your circuits, you can put your sensors, anything that you want. Okay, now let's see how to put all of those things. Do we have any other element? Well, yes, when you click on the basic shape, you'll get a drop down menu. Let's say you go to the vehicles and machine. So let's see, what do we get? Well, we get the tires, we get a cargo, and if you go to more shapes, you'll find you'll find wheel and so many things. So you have, you get to apply so many options from here. You can create your own structure, have some sceneries. Okay. Coming to the hardware, you have gears. And if you want to have more, you just click on more shapes and you'll get more options to use. You can have, you will have electronic option where you can have your own circuit. That's nice. That looks cool. Let's see what else do we have. Oh, we have solar panels. Nice. See, we have solar panels as well. We have a batteries. What else do we have? We have a LED. We have a solar panel in housing. Oh. We have a TV. You can also rotate and change its orientation as you want. Okay. So like this, you can go, you can explore these options. You will find n number of things over here. Let's see what else do we have. Sensors. You will have different sensors, and the good part is that most of the designs that you will create here, or most of this diagrams that you will see, it's pretty much accurate. So you can actually pinpoint, you can actually take a wire and just plug into this pin and maybe connect to the other pin. All sorts of these things you can do. You can create your own circuit actually. So yes, a lot of things can be done into this project. Okay, now let me just quickly show you what I have made. Okay, I did not took much of time. I just made it in a 10-15 minutes. So just let me show you what did I do. Let's go back. Okay. Okay, so okay, yeah. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. This is what I made actually. Though I want to improvise my design, but this is what I made. Basic shapes. You might be wondering how how I created this particular structure. Actually, I just took this paraboloid and this one, and then again I made a copy of it and reversed it, flipped it, and just combined all of these two. I have also made a wheel. So as you turn the wheel, there is a handle. You just kind of pull it, and your cabin, this window will be opened. And I tried to give a little kind of futuristic space structure to this by putting this and I also added a ladder so that if you want to go to the next top floor of your rocket, you can do that. Maybe you can have a lift as well. Okay, yeah. So this is what I tried to make. Now I am putting this challenge to you guys to to create your own design. Maybe you can create a Mars landscape. Maybe you have landscape, okay, and then think about Mars colonization. Like if we as a human try to settle over there, what kind of things we will be needing, what kind of resources we will be requiring. Maybe you can have electricity, and obviously for that solar array is required, right? Now, if you think about food, maybe you can think of food storage system. Maybe you can try, you can make your own food storage system over there. You need to have a water filtration system. You need to have oxygen generation system, and so many things. So you can think about what kind of challenges we will face when we go to that planet, and then based on those problems, try to create that on your project, and obviously along with the spaceship. So I hope everybody is ready to make your own spaceship, to make your own Martian spaceship that might turn into reality in future. Nobody knows, right? Maybe the ideas that we have right now in our mind, it might become a reality. Okay, so somebody asked me, sir, if life is possible on Mars. Well, scientists think that there was a time when life was already existing on Mars. But because of some mishappenings or because of some event, that I'll keep that for a later chapter, life got extinct. Now, we are trying to turn Mars into Earth by providing some kind of technology that will give you, or that will at least fulfill the basic requirement to sustain human life. So I believe that life is, yes, possible on Mars. May not be for, may not be as of now, but definitely, when we think of future, life will be definitely possible on Mars, unless we screw ourselves. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the session, and let's take this as a challenge. Let's design something unique, do some innovation, and don't forget to post your projects, your designs on our platform. Okay, which is a ISRC platform, and I would love to see your innovations. I'd love to see your thinking, because obviously you guys are the future. You guys might create something, you guys might innovate something that would help humanity to become an interplanetary species. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have enjoyed the session. Happy World Space Week, and now I'm ready to take questions. Okay, so one student have asked, so will we visit Mars in future? See, robots are pretty much faster than us, I would say, in this context, because there are already robots over there. But yes, if you talk about we as a human species, we will definitely visit Mars in future. I'm pretty sure. And in fact, astronauts at NASA are anyways getting trained. They are already getting trained to do such kind of, or to perform such kind of space travel. So I see that maybe may not be in 2025, but at least by 2026 or 7, there will be the human's first step on Mars for sure. So I see 3 to 4 years down the lane where human will step on the Mars for the very first time, and that will be again a huge inspiring thing. Maybe some of you might do. Maybe one of you might, become an astronaut and go to the Mars for the very first time. Okay, one guy has told, I made a drawing of my rocket. Devansh. Okay, nice, Devansh. So we would like to see, and especially I would like to see your design. So I would request you to post it on our ISRC channel, where we would have a look. You can put it on our community, ISRC community, where we will look into it, and and then maybe in the future that might come true. Okay, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the session and thank you so much for your time. I hope you had a great weekend and what a wonderful start of this week. Just have a look and keep looking up. Have a clear skies. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much.